SRE moving out, ACE moving up, RF2 moving on right here, right now. Greetings Rummies and welcome to Vrum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to a regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@vrumvrum.net. Again, a slow news week, but that doesn't mean we don't have anything for you, much to the contrary. Go ahead and watch, I won't keep you. Gentlemen and gentlewomen, start your browsers, get on with planning your trips, because we already know when and where the next Simracing Expo will be. Last year we were visiting Nürnberg in December, this year we'll be visiting Dortmund in October. From the 13th to the 15th of October, the Simracing Expo will open its doors. And yes, that is one day less than last year. Seems the 12th will be either only open to press as it was last year and therefore not mentioned, or that the Simracing Expo doesn't want to pay for one day more. In any case, you'll be seeing us in Dortmund this year. Dortmund is also in Germany, but much more to the north and west than Nürnberg, quite near to cities you may be more familiar with, like Düsseldorf and Cologne. Oh, and the organizers of the SRE have signed a 5-year contract, so we expect the Expo will stay put there until at least 2027. At which time we suppose we will be welcoming the beta versions of Assetto Corsa 2 and Rennsport. International travelers flying into the Expo may want to search for the Cologne-Bonn airport or just fly into the international hotspot of Frankfurt and take one of the high-speed trains to Dortmund, of which there is one every hour, more if you are willing to take more than one train for the trip. You can already book the tickets for the Expo, but there is no list of exhibitors yet for this year. Considering the list was still being updated 2 weeks before last year's Expo, we don't expect the list to be finalized anytime soon. We, on the other hand, are already preparing ourselves and making all the needed booking, because of course we're going to be there to give you our impressions and bring you the latest news like we did last year. October, Dortmund, Sim Racing, and don't you forget it! Hey, are you missing our commentated races? You won't for long anymore, as starting today we'll be broadcasting the ASRC Indycar series. While we missed the first 3 races, we're for sure going to be present from the next race on, which is, tighten your seatbelts, the Indy 500. And as the ASRC community races on rFactor 2, they are going to be using the official Dallara IR18 from the sim, which means quite realistic racing. After this, it'll be a weekly race going on to Milwaukee, Cleveland, Mid-Ohio, Watkins Glen and Motegi, with a healthy mix of ovals and road, just like in the real life IndyCar. ASRC is the acronym for the Advanced Simulation Racing Club, a community that mostly does open-wheeler series with the occasional rooftop series in between, like a soon-to-be-started Clio series. They race on rFactor 2 exclusively. Once again, Serta and Cody will be commentating these races. As Ike is driving another series on Sundays, he won't be able to join us for most of them. Hopefully he will be able to be with us for the one or the other, as we enjoy his company as much as he enjoys commentating. It has taken developer Alex Mail longer this time, but as he says, life came in between and he's done heavy work on the fundamentals of ACE. As it's always the case, this kind of work is not as visible as new content or features, but it will make it easier for him to update Assetto Corsa Evoluzione and is the basis for further features he's thinking about. That is not to say ACE brought no new content or features. If you've had issues with your controller or wheel while using Assetto Corsa Evoluzione, you can disable the controller script and these issues should now be in the past. And with this new version, you can now choose if you want to see the cars in your garage in a grid or as a list. Maintenance prices are now dynamic based on how much wear the part of your car has. Daily events not only change now in real time, Alex has changed the cars you can race there in a way that makes the races more balanced and therefore more enjoyable. The daily events was one of the places Alex went deep into the fundamentals to eliminate past issues. Going through the car dealer and the cars there should also be faster because of different fundamental changes. And don't update if you want to benefit from the bug that let you sell cars at much higher prices than you had bought them for. The graphics are also of much better quality throughout the whole of ACE. Next Level Racing have released the GT Lite PlayStation Edition. Like all badging exercises, you pay more for the same and get next to nothing in return unless you really like PlayStation or the standard edition is out of stock. These cockpits are a bit of an anomaly in the sim racing space, not rigid enough to take the higher torque wheels or to use for long races, but not cheap enough to make a strong argument over a wheel stand or just pushing your pedals against the wall and clamping to the desk for the price bracket they're aiming for. There's more to that opinion, but if you want more op-ed work from the RumRum team, let us know. We read all the comments you leave and respond to as many as we can. The Next Level Racing GT Lite PlayStation Edition is available now and will take £249 British from your pocket compared to the £229 British the non-PlayStation variant demands. Patrons allow us to ignore any YouTube bullshit and allow us to invest in high-quality sim racing journalism like Simracing Expo or buying hard and software without strings attached. Amongst other perks, becoming a patron will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing. So a big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. It's been a big week for rFactor 2. Again, there have been fixes, patches, new content and an entirely new system added, which points to even more work coming to this almost decade-old sim. Put 28th of March 2023 in your diaries. First, the release candidate has had several fixes to photo mode, a recently added mode where we can get those super sweet shots of when you or the AI does something hopelessly impossible that we'll never do again. We should expect these fixes to keep coming. This week, it's minor UI tweaks, fixes and improvements for usability and the vehicle focus not working correctly when using onboard cameras. The released candidate also got some fixes with content uninstalling or installing the wrong versions. They also fixed boost changes made from in-car not applying to the car itself, motion blurred misbehaving when changing cameras and driver labels so you know who you need to report in said league races, rendering behind other screen elements. Now for the public release. For server owners, server keys are now independent of their machine and can now be shared across multiple servers. Track limits have been made less strict again, since you lot can't be trusted not to push the limits even when you're told not to. Fixed the rare occurrence of track cuts not being recorded and added more data to the logging and debug modes. What these details are, we aren't told, but for those who know, I'm sure the last update will be most useful. IMSA and Indycar fans rejoice. Long Beach joins Daytona, Sebring, Laguna Seca and Virginia International Raceway in rFactor 2 with mods to allow Watkins Glen, Road America and Mid-Ohio. Long Beach is a staple of the great American sports and open wheel scene with massive bumps, curbs baiting you into the opposing wall and the beautiful first sector with a water fountain which is just bliss to hot lap or crash against, it depends. While we suppose this is based on work done for the IndyCar sim, we again suppose they are trying to get some money out of racers already by publishing this track on rFactor 2, the core of both sims being the same or quite similar as far as we know. What can be said about the legend that is the Honda Civic in the BTCC? Originally run by Team Dynamics in partnership with Honda UK, the new for 2021 FK8 variant draws on the decades of victories and can now be yours in rFactor 2. Even though the rear-wheel drive cars on balance are still faster over race distance, the Civic, if modeled as accurately as we are used to, will be the best chance the front-wheel drive cars and fanatics will have to touching the Infiniti and BMW upstarts in online competition, and with the next updates perhaps overtaking them. We told you it was coming and Studio 397 couldn't wait to show us all. BTCC Hybrid Boost is here and is implemented in the public release of rFactor 2, so if you want to feel what 350 bhp for 50 seconds per lap feels like in a Civic, Focus or any of the other models really not suited for it, then jump in and remember to bind the comment in the options menu. And now the big one, not released yet, but a reminder that on February 21st, Studio 397 will release their biggest change yet to the original IC simulator in allowing drivers to race against content that they don't own. Only like the BMW M4 GT3, you now only need buy the ugly mess of a nose, I mean car, and the track if applicable, and you can now join any servers with the rest of the much better looking GT3 class cars, provided you have installed them through the now revised Content Manager. This functionality will be implemented both for online as well as for offline races, by which we suppose Studio 397 means single-player races against the AI. Even in this most recent release, having the cars downloaded is really the only catch-22 we can pull from this news, and if you don't know how to use the new Content Manager, leave a comment below, we'll get right on that. By the way, the addition of the Civic now brings the total for BTCC cars and tracks to something in between 62 and 50 euro USD, depending on how you bought them. And we are still missing many official versions of the tracks. The policy of Studio 397 or their corporate sugar daddy motorsport games seems to be more geared towards a money grab than towards becoming the better sim racing experience. We, on the other hand, are thinking about how to spread the joy of sim racing. Go check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.